Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Twi'Ann TV. My name is Ann and of course I have my twin boys, Zion and Zuri. Right now they're asleep, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this video out as quickly as possible. So today I'm going to be talking all about child support, specifically in the state of North Carolina. I'm not going to really touch much on any of the other states because depending on what state it is, the guidelines will vary because each state have their own way of how they calculate child support and how they even go about that process. I will include some information below if you're not in the state of North Carolina, and if you are in the state of North Carolina, some links that you can click on to give you more information and how to even potentially calculate potential child support. So if this is something that you're into, definitely stay tuned. Also, my channel is going to be going over lifestyle. So child support is a part of my lifestyle. It's a part of a lot of other people's lifestyle. I do family vlogs. I love to cook, so you will also see that. And you will also we'll begin to start seeing true crime on Tuesday. I'll make that a separate place to kind of keep it somewhat separate from my family channel, but it will still be all within the same channel. So if you're only here for true crime, definitely start tuning in on Tuesdays. Beginning the Valentine's weekend, I will have those videos going live every Tuesday. And I typically gravitate towards the more gruesome videos, or crime, so I cannot wait for these first few stories that I'm going to be telling you guys, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'm super excited. Now without further ado, let's go ahead and quickly jump into this video because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Now, in the state of North Carolina, I'm specifically talking to unwedded individuals, okay? You have your custodial parent, which is typically the mother, and the non-custodial parent, which is typically the father. In order for them to figure out child support, one of three worksheets are going to be used to determine the amount of child support that child is going to receive. But before I get into that, and I will show you the worksheets that they use and an example of a breakdown so you can figure out for yourself if you're in that situation. I want to quickly kind of just go over the three different worksheets so you can understand what I'm talking about and which worksheet will apply or is applicable to you. I'm just looking at my notes. So worksheet A is typically going to be for individuals who are not married, typically, but not in all cases. And of course, always consult a family attorney if you feel the need to. But worksheet A, this worksheet is appropriate for cases involving sole custody, meaning one party has the children the majority of the year and the other parent has the children less than 123 days per year. So if the non-custodial parent or the father or the alleged father has the child for less than 123 days a year, and then you all would be following worksheet A. So if you are the man that's watching this and you have your child less than 123 days a year, you're going to fall under worksheet A. So that's going to be the worksheet that I work off of, and that should also be the worksheet that you work off of. Worksheet B, this worksheet is appropriate for cases involving joint custody, meaning that each parent has the children for at least 123 overnights. So typically joint custody will be for a couple that was married and now they're going for divorce, and so they split the custody jointly, so 50-50. Or in other words, each parent has a child for at least 123 overnights in a year. And then the last worksheet is worksheet C, and this worksheet is appropriate for cases involving split custody, meaning the custodial schedules for the children of the same parents differs, such as when the custody of the children are split, with one parent having primary physical custody of one child and the other parent having primary physical custody of the other child. So in a situation like this typically, I guess, would be more than one. I don't have any experience with worksheet B or C because that doesn't apply to my situation. So for the sake of this video, we're going to be strictly speaking on worksheet A. Again, if you want to, you can stop watching it here and you can click the videos below if you think your situation falls under worksheet B or C. But if you're still curious about how to calculate it, definitely stay tuned because I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. Now, worksheet B is the most commonly used option in North Carolina because it reflects that most parents are gaining equitable time with their children. After the proper child support worksheet is selected, each of the parties' monthly income, all sources is entered into the worksheet. If you have more than one job, if you own a business, like all that's going to be used. Other information relevant to the child support calculator includes how time is divided between the parents so they can determine which worksheet, health, dental, and vision insurance costs for the children, and I will go more detail of that, additional health care costs for the children, work-related child care expenses such as daycare, after-school daycare, that sort of thing, responsibility for other children born outside the relationship between you and the other party. So if you guys are divorced and now this husband's not married to someone else, or this wife is not married to someone else, if there are other children born, they do consider that. Or if you pay child support for another child, they do consider that in their calculation. For our sake, we won't, but just know that that is there. Also, extraordinary expenses such as private school tuition and any other information and expenses that may be allowable under North Carolina child support law. And I will also touch on that. So I am once again going to provide some helpful links below, so definitely check out the description box below. And also while you're there, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you would like more informational videos like this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty. All right, so when a woman first files for child support, so if you're the woman that's filed for child support from the non-custodial parent, aka the father or the alleged father, if he did not sign the birth certificate. I'll speak if he did not sign the birth certificate and if he did sign the birth certificate. One of the first things child support enforcement is going to do is they're going to have a caseworker reach out to you. What they're doing is, like, this particular caseworker is trying to do mediation. So before you guys even get into actual child support court, they're going to try to mediate between the two of you guys to see if y'all can come up with an agreement without going to the judge. The judge will sign off on it and it will be officially in your file. So the non-custodial parent will have to agree or will have to pay whatever you guys agreed upon, but it's not necessarily going to court. So they try to do this option first because it's more friendly between the two parents. It's easier, it's quicker, and they don't have to waste, not necessarily waste the court's time, but you don't have to worry about trying to get on the court schedule, which can take months, sometimes weeks and months to get on the court schedule to be heard. And so they try to do the mediation process. If you guys cannot agree, or if the non-custodial parent, in my particular case, would not pick up the phone, would not answer the calls or the letters that were sent in the mail after several attempts of non-communication, or after several attempts that you guys just simply could not come up with an amount that was fair to both of you guys, and then it's going to move on to the next step. So what that caseworker then is going to do is that they're then going to file in child support court or child support enforcement agency on your behalf or on the custodial parent's behalf. Now, depending on who you have for a caseworker, this could be something that they do fairly quickly. Once they file the child support court, you will be assigned a new caseworker. Now, North Carolina is known for having caseworkers who do not email you, who do not call you, who do not call you back. You will call that call center. They cannot help very much. They're just going to basically tell you like, hey, I'll get a message over to the caseworker, or I will send them an email, and they still not. You have to just continue to call and email your caseworker. You essentially almost have to harass them in order for them to contact you and get you answers. Each county is different in the state of North Carolina. Some may be a little bit more proactive, some may be a little bit better than others, especially if you get someone who truly enjoys doing this and is really trying to help you. So I always tell people, try to be nice to them. You get more with sugar than vinegar. So, you know, but so yeah, so now we're going for the first hearing. Now, in my particular case, the birth certificate was not signed. So the birth certificate was not signed. A lot of non-custodial parents typically do this as a stalling tactic, but they will basically contest paternity. So what will happen is the judge will agree, and because obviously the birth certificate wasn't signed, and now your caseworker has to schedule a test with LabCorp. So back in the day, they used to do, you know, paternity tests in court, but unfortunately due to COVID and that sort of thing, a lot of courts are no longer doing paternity tests in the court, and instead you have to go to a LabCorp. They will schedule LabCorp closest to you. You receive the information in the mail from LabCorp with the location, date, and time. But it wasn't a quick swab of the cheek. I mean, it was swabbing the cheek. They had to take pictures of everybody, fingerprints, a bunch of paperwork. So just be prepared to stay for a little bit of time, because it's not a 30-minute process. It could take 45 minutes to an hour easy, unless of course you get a more experienced lab technician that does paternity tests quite often and they can kind of breeze through it. So the paternity test, by the end of October, he never took paternity tests. Now you can potentially be held in contempt for this, could potentially go to jail, but again, it's going to depend on the county and the judge who's presiding over the case and the lawyer who's representing the Child Support Enforcement Agency, depending on how bad she really wants to go after that individual. I apologize for my phone. So if they really are motivated to go after the individual and get them to some serious trouble, you could potentially be held in contempt, and it doesn't look favorable on the non-custodial parent. So if you're a guy watching this, take the paternity test. Because if you do not, this is what happens. When you do not take the paternity test, when we go for our next appearance, the custodial parent or the female, she will have to testify in court that she has not slept with any other men at the time that the child or children were conceived, that you are the only potential father of these kids. Once that goes on record, that's it. Child, like, you have been deemed the father without DNA test. So I highly recommend, like, dads out there, take the paternity test, especially if you don't think it's your child, because if you do not take it, you will automatically be deemed a father. Now, women or by custodial parents, if you do not take the court order paternity test, depending on how nice the court is. I see one young man where he showed up and the female did not show up. So what happened was they both missed paternity, but because he showed up, he gave him another opportunity. They told him to take paternity test if he knows, in fact, that that is not his child. As far as the female, if she does not take paternity test and this is their second time, they will automatically dismiss the case and you have to start a process over again. But again, it doesn't look very favorable for you. So if you are a female, take paternity test. If you're a male, take paternity test. Especially if you do not believe you are the father, because North Carolina will deem you the father if the female takes it and the father does not. So yes. Now you can later on, the father can do a paternity test, but the court will not pay for it. You have to pay for it out of pocket, and the female doesn't necessarily have to do it because it's private, and if she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. So keep that in mind, that if you try to go back and back in time, it's going to be too late. So I highly recommend that you do it while the court basically is summoning you to do it. Also on the podium, they then begin to ask me my income, if I'm paying for any medical expenses like dental, eye, vision, and medical expenses, if I'm paying for work-related expenses, aka daycare, and then is there anything else I want the court to know. So in my particular case, I wanted it to be retro, meaning I wanted them to go all the way back from the day that it was born and not the date that it was filed. In the state of North Carolina, there is a 3-year statute of limitation for the good part. So thank you so much if you stay here this long. Right now, I'm going to go over worksheet A so you can basically figure out how much child support. This is probably why you're here, because you want to figure out how much child support. So I'm going to turn on my phone so you can see. So I will probably have it, my screen recording somewhere here, so I can talk as we go. So as you see, this is the North Carolina Child Support Worksheet A, primary custody. Again, primary custody means that the child is with the parent for over 200 and I think I said 73 days. And if that's not the correct days, I'll put like a little asterisk. So that is in my particular case. So first thing you want to know is you have to put in the number of children that you're seeking child support for. All right. So let's do 2 kids. So monthly gross income, this is in reference to the plaintiff. The plaintiff is the custodial parent or the mother. So let's say the mother gross income, this is pre-tax, she brings home $3,600 a month. The defendant, his grossly month income, aka the non-custodial parent or the dad, we're going to say he brings home $2,500 a month. Now, it wants to know if either parent, whether it be the non-custodial or the custodial parent, has any outstanding, like any child support for another woman or women. If so, you would enter that information here. Again, this is for the plaintiff or the custodial parent or the mom. And then right here will be for the dad or the non-custodial parent. In this particular case, we're going to say 0. All right. Now, they want to know how many children outside, how many children you're taking care of. So let's say I'm seeking support for 2 kids, but I have 1 additional child at home that I'm taking care of. You would enter that here, and then same for the defendant, but we're going to keep both the amounts 0, 0, just going to keep this worksheet super easy. Now, work-related child care costs, that's going to be daycare. So we're just going to use what I was paying in daycare. All right, so health insurance premiums. So this is going to be the combined insurance. So dental, vision, and medical. For the sake of this video, so it won't take too long, I'm going to say the combined medical premiums or health insurance premiums are monthly. Let's just say $300, okay? Now, extraordinary expenses, that's going to be like for private school tuition, that sort of thing. You can discuss with a lawyer or your caseworker about extraordinary expenses, but for the sake of this, we're going to leave that blank. We're then going to hit compute. All right, so right here is the worksheet that literally the court does use to figure out how much child support you're going to potentially be paying or receiving. That North Carolina is a 50-50 state. It's not a mom state, it's not a dad state. We are a 50-50 state, which is why you see these percentages. It says each parent's child support obligations is saying that mine is, after they did all the deductions, they're saying that basically I'm paying $2,498.75 a month for my children that goes towards my kids. And they're saying that the alleged father should pay $1,735.25 a month in child support. So that is pretty much it. Child support in North Carolina. So if you are seeking child support or somebody basically said, hey, like you're a guy and you want to know how much you're going to be paying or what you can look forward to, this is it. Use that worksheet so you can see about how much you're going to pay. Now, before I leave, I do want to do one other important thing regarding child support in North Carolina. But what I want to say, for any obligor, meaning the non-custodial parent, because he's the one that he's obligated to pay child support. If you have an adjusted gross income below the federal poverty level, the guidelines provide the minimum child support of $50. So if you're a man and you're watching this and you like, I only bring home $1,200 a month, there's no way that I can pay $500 a month in child support and still be able to live, and I have other child support obligations or anything like that. Just know that North Carolina tries to be somewhat fair, if you will, for both the men and the women, despite the misconceptions or what people typically think or have heard maybe from the past. But the minimum child support will be $50. So if your income falls below the federal poverty line, which I think is $30,000, which is probably around minimum wage or a little bit above minimum wage, and then you automatically going to be deemed $50 a month. So sorry, moms out there, and to the dads, I hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions about child support, something that I did not cover or that you're not clear on, definitely please let me know, and I'll be so happy to clarify. But definitely leave a comment below. If this is the type of content that you want to see, definitely let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on my TikTok as well as my Instagram. All of the platforms are listed below. It's the same name for everything. And definitely come and join this family and follow me on my new lifestyle. Don't forget, also beginning Valentine's Day week, we will start True Crime Tuesday. So every Tuesday you can expect a new true crime for me. If that is something that you're interested in, please give me some cases below of people that you would like for me to review. I've been told I'm a pretty good storyteller, and I'll also provide my own little 2 cents and investigative work. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely stay tuned for that. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.